welcome back. As we earlier said, very important tips to be able to take a comprehensive look over the economic changes and the global economic challenges that are posed and posing threats to people worldwide. How to be able to cope with those economic challenges and giving a balance or achieving a balance between the income and the hike in prices and the rapid changes according to the political changes that reflect over economic also changes. We're very delighted to be having with us here live in the studio our dear guest, Dr. Zeinab Nawar. She's an economic expert. Good morning, Dr. Nawar.
Good morning, my dear. Good morning.
Good morning to you. And we were talking about the latest economic changes that were effected as a result of some political crisis that is taking place between Russia and Ukraine and other political crises that reflect over prices in oil, over prices in over income, over the stock market and all that.
Definitely the situation that we have now, even in Egypt or worldwide, is we are actually in a very embarrassing situation. We are in a crisis actually, because if we talk about post-COVID-19 and all the implications of Corona, so now we are starting worldwide and also in Egypt to recover. So we need some time to recover. Even we used to have a talk, if you remember, Dina, maybe 1 month ago or two, before the crisis between Russia and Ukraine, and we started to talk about the recovery and the world recovery. But now the crisis and this war actually had turned everything now back to the time of Corona, and maybe I think it will be worse now, because now, and because what we do have and what we used to have after Corona and the time of Corona and the slowing down and all of this. So now once again we will be entering a worldwide recession once again, and the recovery will be so slow. And also the huge increase that have been occurred in most of the products, especially the necessities and especially the important products like oil, like of course if we talk about food and all of these types of what we can say necessities for human beings. So it's a huge challenge. Now it's the role of the government, again, of the governments worldwide, is to try to deal with this high inflation rates, how that there should be a lot of awareness to be done to the consumers in different countries, and even here in Egypt, is to have a rational degree of consumption, because this will be one of the only techniques that will be used. Other techniques like the mechanism for the monitoring of prices in markets, and we all know that for the US and for the European countries and for the rest of the world, they do have mechanisms for that. But what about Egypt? And this is the biggest challenge that we are facing now. The huge or the increase in price, that is not the real increase in price, and this is the important, this is the crisis, and this is the issue of the situation. Why? Because once you are saying that we have an expectation of an increase in price, this word of expectation itself, it creates an increase in price. Whether this increase in price or this inflation rate, if this is the true or this is not the true thing to be happening. So a lot of rumors, a lot of unknowns, a lot of crises, a lot of events that we don't know where we are going to. So this war created a lot of chaos actually, which was not its time.
Of course it's a lot of chaos, but what is supposed to be happening in that case? I mean, people, whenever something, some crisis is happening, they immediately, there is a saga and there is a lot of gossip about the hike in prices. Now things are becoming complicated, and the hike in prices of oil and gas and everything, and sometimes it doesn't happen. But they just create a lot of confusion about what is supposed to be happening.
It's first we have two ways to work on. Number one is the governments themselves, and if we talk about the government of Egypt specifically, they should put the mechanism to monitor the prices in market. We used to say this several times in several meetings, that we have a problem related to the pricing system in the Egyptian market before even the crisis to occur. We need to have a system to monitor the prices for each type of products, whether necessity products or luxury products, we have a deficiency in this, and this is what creates this, what we can say, things came as an accumulation effect. You have a system which is not efficient, and now you're having a crisis, so you are creating more inefficiency into the system, so things had been doubled or maybe tripled in its effect. So there should be a strong and a very precise and very also, what we can say, there should be regulations. There should be system to monitor prices. Whoever is not going to abide by the system, so there should be other consequences, legal, whatever legal actions to be taken against the suppliers that will not be committed. There should be something like this. We don't have this in the Egyptian markets, and this is the main problem. So this is a side. The other side, the suppliers themselves also on the private sector of Egypt, the behavior of the private sector. Once the private sector see that there is a window to make money, so they will just run and make money. This shouldn't be the case in the time of crisis, because when the private sector is doing this, he's harming the consumers, he's harming the country, all over the country, and the pricing level. So there should be some sort of discipline from the private sector and the suppliers themselves. The other part, of course, part is an important partner in this, the consumer and the consumer behavior. We still have a problem in this.
The hoarding of the commodities.
Yeah, well, we should be more rational in our consumption. When we go a place, and
I
we
think
can
this is a universal trait. Wherever you go worldwide, when you see people before Christmas, before any season, they hoard. They go to supermarkets and they keep shopping and shopping, even things they don't need. You know, even before, when it was before the new millennium, like in the year 2000, people were, approaching the year 2000, there were fears things are going to happen.
Yes.
People could remember. And worldwide, people went to supermarkets and started hoarding things.
Yes, but it can happen worldwide, but I will tell you something. The consumption rationality and the consumer behavior different from a country to another. You have,
in what sense?
In what sense? You will find, for example, the European consumers, they are so rational.
Of course.
You know this. If you traveled abroad,
Only one
you
apple.
will see, yes, of course, they're so rational in their behavior. If you went to the US, I'm just giving you another example, you will see that they are not this rationality in their consumption behavior. We don't want to tell the Egyptians that you have to be like the Europeans. No, we don't want this to happen. But rationality and the behavior of consumption and purchasing, this is something that is different from a nation to another. And those who are known with a degree of rationality, this is better for the whole economy. So rushing into the supermarkets and getting a lot of products that even if you don't, this is not right, because this is a waste of income and waste of resources. You should be very rational in buying products. So this type of behavior should be also for the Egyptians and for some, I can say, economic classes or some classes, social classes here in Egypt, they should be more rational than this. So you will not allow the suppliers or the private sector to make a hell of money out of you. Because when you do this, when you are irrational, so you will make the suppliers make a lot of money out of you and also increase the price, and they will keep on increasing the price even if this is not the true increase in price to be occurred. So we made that through our behavior, we are assisting whoever would like to use us to use us. So this is one of the issues.
Right. What are the elements which usually have direct impact over the inflation, the decreasing inflation rate?
Decrease or increase?
Increase, I mean.
Increase. Any inflation, any increase in prices is not for the sake is not right for any economy. Because increase in price means first, if you talk about ourselves as consumers, so increase in price means that if I'm going to get food, to get necessary products, whatever I'm going to pay for school for my children, or even to get a type of healthcare services, so I will pay a lot of money. And maybe my income will not allow me to pay for all of this. So I may decide not to, for example, not to go to the doctor, whatever. So I will just do a cutting from these necessities. And cutting from these necessities will affect my welfare as a citizen. So the increase in price will will make us in living in a situation which is not comfortable to us. Maybe we will do a cut from our expenses that we used to pay for. If we had done so, this means once again for the supplier and for the manufacturer, maybe they are not be able to sell what they used to sell before. So once again, the high or the increase in prices, it's not right, and it's not for the sake for the consumers and even for the producer on the medium and on the long term. This is number one. Number two, it's for the economy, the whole of the economy. If you talk about bringing or getting foreign direct investment, more investment to coming into the country, if we have a high inflation rate, this is one of the main reasons that for any FDIs, they will not come to the country and they will not invest. Even for the private sector, they will not start their business. So the high inflation rate is a destructive points for any economy. This is why all the governments along the world, of course, in all the countries, they are trying to decrease this inflation rate and try to deal with it. Although we talk about the government effort or the consumers and also the producers' effort.
The producers. On that note, Dr. Zeinab Nawar, of course, you're an economic expert. I'd like to thank you so much for coming over to the breakfast show. And you have a wonderful day.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
And we're going to go to a short break and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us. I guess it's about time to end it with the breakfast show. Many thanks to all of you. And until we see you again tomorrow morning with a new episode of our show, that's a goodbye. You have a beautiful day.